The new studio is coming together well, but the one thing that I've been missing out a lot is having a good place for electronics work. Soldering iron, an oscilloscope, things like that. My dad has been in radio for years, and how many workbenches have you put together?
Well, including tower sites, that's a lot.
My goal here is to get this workbench set up for computing, for ham radio, amateur radio stuff, and who knows what else. But one of the immediate pressing needs is I have an old Mac and an old Apple computer that you know a little history about. So this workbench will be in honor of Mark Geerling, who passed away last year.
Yes, he did. I miss him, miss you, Mark. So that's for sure. He's a great guy, a great dad, a great brother.
And somebody who has been awarded for a lot of different things. He used to work at Boeing, and I don't know much about what he did because I know he did a lot of top secret things, but we have an award that he got for avionic assembly architecture for interconnect to system motherboard. So he did a lot of PCB designs and validation.
A job he got because he tinkered with computers at a time when tinkerers became extremely valuable quickly, and end up with Boeing and whatever it was, a 40-year career, 30-year career.
So I think it'd be cool if we can build this workbench and do some projects on it and share them with you guys. We bought a Ultra HD workbench. This is, the reason I got it was because it has a huge thick top that's already pre-finished and everything, so you don't have to finish your own top and do all that. And I got it pre-assembled. We had to put a little bit together, but those casters are nice because we could move this around if we need to reorganize the studio. And I wanted to show a couple quick details. One is it is adjustable height. I kind of like the standing height, but over time, if we figure out that it's nice to sit down for some projects, we could lower the whole workbench. That's kind of an operation on this. It's not just a crank. But we also...
What the heck is this for, Joe?
Yeah,
what is that for?
Go check out the video on that.
That's why you don't touch a tower.
But we got these ShelfLinks. This was, I don't remember what the video is. I'll link to it in the description, and maybe I'll post it up here in the video. But somebody had an idea to use these for an electronics workbench because you can flip over one set and have it mounted to the actual bench for stability. So we're going to try to put all this together today and get started on this workbench and eventually have the ultimate electronics workbench.
Exactly. And the first question is, how much space do you leave before that first shelf? That is huge because it determines what you can do, slapping things on the counter, screens, whatever else you might need. You know, that height here is huge.
What are the things in radio that you use the most often?
Well, I guess you always have power supplies too, right? So you're wanting somewhere in this range. You're going to want some plus and minus supply leads that you can get to real quick and clip in. And we're always putting things like in radio. I always put down, like I'll put down a 200 watt, 400 watt, 2000 watt transmitter. I need a dummy load location to put that into. I might need 240 volts or 220 volts or 208 volts. The oscilloscopes are a big one too. Voltometer, oscilloscope, basic tools like that.
It looks like they have mallets here. I don't know why you would need a mallet with this.
Yeah, what would you be malleting against?
This is taller than a big server.
Is there another one?
You have two over there.
Oh, I have two, yes. I do.
So let's say we had this guy out here.
Yeah.
That's taller than the biggest server I have.
Yeah.
We'd want to have a comfortable height, so...
Yeah, you got to lift stuff off, you got you got headroom to look down in.
I'm going to inset them so that if we have clamps, we can clamp.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea too.
And then, hold on, don't touch it yet. Let me put this down. Okay. Top shelf. It drills right into the top of a workbench.
Yeah, I know, a nice one.
This workbench is so thick that it doesn't... Ow, that's hot though.
It can't get hot.
It's so thick that I'm not too worried about going right through it anyway. It's nice to have this little handy guy. That's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't touch the tip.
Touch a hot dog to that?
And get this one in. wow, that is like almost exactly 65 inches. That'd be the top. So we need 4 at 65 inches. And then after we do that, we could put the shelf up and see what the high shelf would be.
We could get pretty close on it, but you might be an inch or two off, and then you go, oh, I'm too low. That would hurt. If you're too long, it doesn't hurt, but it's... You could always, even if you're too long on the tops, you could come down and change them down lower.
Well, but you're supposed to do the top over the tops of these.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's for strength?
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. We're going to set this right on top?
Yep. Now, did you know that this is actually Uncle Mark's old portable workbench, too?
I did not know that, and I have never seen him use it, but I've seen him do a lot of work after the fact.
He and you have a lot of things in common. You always had all these little, like, fancy things that, you know, I used to just get a box and put something on it, but you guys had these nice little portable workbenches.
Yeah, stuff to help you out. That's... As you get older, too, it helps the back and the shoulders and the... We never had battery-powered
sliding compound miter saws.
Never had that.
Yep. And we need 65 inches.
Question is, can you mark it with one mark and make your perfect cut?
Well, you should be able to.
Yeah, no, that's the whole point.
Another cool thing about this guy is...
You can roll it in.
Oh, it's so bright out here that you can't see, but see the shadow line?
Yeah.
So you need to bring it this way a tiny bit. Right there.
Okay, hold on, get that back.
Oh, you know what? We don't have eye protection, and people would say something about it on YouTube. Well, sort of. They don't make a left-hander's saw.
Yeah.
Like, I'm left-handed. This would be perfect for me, and but I'll have to come over here.
This is the good piece.
Yep. Okay, we need some more like that, so we could use that as the reference. Get those lined up, and then I'll get the blade touching the edge of this.
Okay.
All that sawdust is going right in there.
Is it all getting sucked in?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Oops. Maybe I should have closed the door.
So it wants us to put one together, the top shelf?
Yeah, put the top shelf together. We could do that on the ground. So line them up with, it said 1/2 inch spacing.
You're going to do 3.
This
Yeah,
will be
you got
the
anything
shelf.
like a 1/2 inch we
So
can just put in
see how
between?
there's some rough sides?
Yeah.
We'll do the rough on the bottom. Okay, and then we want to space these out by 1/2 inch.
1/2 inch. Yep. So you go edge to edge like that, and then space these evenly, whether it's a 1/2 inch or not.
Okay. So if we flip this over, it should line up perfectly on that other one. Check the alignment here. And are you on there?
Perfectly here.
Yeah,
like
that's
super
good.
uber perfect here.
Good job. Okay, well that's it. No.
Yeah, there's you go. That's the one.
Okay.
And so you got another piece here to cut.
All right,
There you
well-
go. All right.
I'll finish putting this together.
All righty.
had everything set up a bit earlier, but I was inside screwing everything in, and it started pouring down rain. So it was a very short little rainstorm, but I didn't want to let my power tool get all wet. After you left, I got this all set up. This is about 17 inches, and I was measuring to the height of the handle on this guy to give a little room, and I found out that these offcuts from the other ones were exactly 31 inches tall. So
perfect.
it was 1 inch more with a little padding, and I figured padding is better for our equipment.
Yep.
You know, a lot of it will probably be about this tall.
Reach to the back.
But there's 3 here, 4 here, and enough space for.
Yeah.
I didn't even check this, but it's a good thing that fits in there. But,
I said I came out of that 17, that number 17.
Yeah.
And what did this come out to? Almost 17?
This is about 17, yeah. It wasn't too bad, so I did it a silly way. I was like lifting up one side and the other, and then I'd mark it, and then I'd drill in one side, and there's probably a better way to do it, and the instructions weren't 100% clear.
I was going to say, like, put a level on the...
Yeah, but you need to face a little bit more that way.
Oh, okay.
Not too much.
Put a level on
Not that much. So anyway, I got all of my gear on here. This is all from home. We have the oscilloscope, soldering iron, hot air rework station, circuit board, PCB holder, and the air duster. This guy, you have the data vac at your office. When I found this, I was like, man, that's expensive. It's like 100 and some bucks. This is like 50, and it was on sale for 30. So I actually bought another one for home. But it's a good air duster. The one thing that I think the data vac has over it is this plastic body starts warming up after 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
so
mine will be alive after both of us. It'll still be working somewhere.
Yeah, if
Some
you buy this one,
shop.
use it a little more cautiously, maybe 2 or 3 minutes at a time. But it's been handy.
They are good, though.
Yeah, it's great to have that. You don't have to use the canned.
Yep.
You have to buy like 100 of these a year, and then they run out, and then they freeze your hand, and they make.
They are good for that, though.
They make that too.
They're good for cold checking circuits. You got a circuit that's overheating. You can spray that on.
Yeah, and we have our collection of chemicals and greases coming.
Kind of a small collection. You should see mine.
Cleaner. I know. Yeah, you have a picture. I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. There you go.
But we also always have lots of alcohol.
Yeah, a lot of
Not the kind that you drink.
No.
That would be dangerous. But the one other thing too is I bought this ESD mat from Scientific Americas, and I haven't grounded it yet, but that'll be helpful. You have a grounded mat that we can work on things. Yep. And a sticker that we could put up, but I don't know if this is not really a static safe area. You have this stuff behind and cut it.
Yeah, I would.
But one other thing, one of the viewers emailed me, Ken's Custom Crafts, and he sent me this. He custom turned this wood on the lathe and made a really nice magnetic pickup tool.
That is cool.
That is very strong. So we'll be able to
nice work there, Ken.
stick this on here. Just don't stick it too close to your old tapes if we ever
your
work
charge card,
your analog stuff, or hotel room keys.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty nice.
The last thing to set up the workbench, though, we have all these Mark Geerling name tags, and I put some VHB tape on this one. So if you want to stick that on, the other thing is I forgot to mention is this is the magnifying glass Uncle Mark had on his desk for years and years whenever he was looking at something up close. So another fun little tool to have handy.
Yeah.
To remember him by.
More needed now than it was in years past for me.
And I made it like a puzzle. You have to get all the red off.
Like, how did we get 2 skinny things in there?
And the question is, how will you line it up?
Yes. Oh, eyeball it, right?
Yep.
You want it right in the center?
Have it inset a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
to where it's rounded. Get past the rounding.
Yeah, so you don't
right there.
jab your fingers on it.
Yep, get that set there. You like how that looks right there? You want it down a little bit?
That looks pretty centered.
Okay. Beautiful. What do you think? Right there.
Yep.
Give it a couple of runs through. Mark, the guy of many projects. We spent a lot of time at his house on some electrical things, and he spent a zillion times more on all kinds of projects there at that wonderful lake house.
And wasn't he the first person to own a computer in your family?
Yes, he was actually, and not that I was envious or jealous, being older and making more money at the time. But he did. He was the first one to own a computer, and it had like 16K of RAM. So we upgraded that, of course.
That would be enough for anybody, right?
It's almost enough. 32K, that would be enough. So.
Yep. Well, so I have a question. We're starting to fill things in, and I can do some of my work now, like recapping a motherboard for the Mac Classic out there. What's your essential tools you think we need to get next?
Well, the couple of things. The first one is a voltometer, handy one. You know, I don't know if you want to
maybe a
benchtop
version.
You could do a benchtop version. A second thing was a power supply with variable. Dual output variable power supply or something like that, even if it was a single output at this point. You know, you need all those little dongly, jumpery cable things, so we want to get something with that.
I brought some, and I had them in a box. I must have left them at home, but I did have a bunch that I was just going to clip on over on the side.
Yeah,
little alligator clips.
Jumpery, cabley thing. You need some more chemicals. We all need more chemicals.
That's it. And then you end up with the many bottles. We use them one time, and then you set them up there, and they sit there for 25 years.
Well, that's true. That is true sometimes. You would want, some kind of handy tool. Grab little tools, big tools. Like just hand tools.
What about putting a pegboard on the wall here? We have over here, this is the portable rolling tool bench that I've been using. It's nice to have a stable one.
I was going to say, you're pretty much covered right there. That's pretty good.
It even has the super long Torx head drivers for the old Macs.
Look at that. So I noticed you have a couple of radios over here.
Yes.
I had not seen those before.
Yeah, these are actually, they're newer. They're from Quansheng. I saw an article in IEEE about how you can hack the firmware on them, which seems pretty cool. But I think a long-term goal over here...
Pretty legal, you mean? Legal and cool.
Yeah, well, we have licenses, so even if we're interfering a little bit, we'll be very careful.
Gotcha.
But a long-term goal is to have some sort of antenna that goes outside, or a mast out there that we could put multiple antennas on and experiment with. Probably not like the old school ham shack 100-foot thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But talk to the building.
But a hinged portable thing connected to the back of the building can hinge up quite a bit.
Yeah.
You could probably do something fun.
So figure out something, and we could probably do some more experimentation from here. It would have been nice to think about that before we built everything, and we could have run a cable in the wall and done everything nicely. But the other thing I'm wondering is, for anybody watching the video, what else do you see missing that you would say you really need that, or are there any power supplies or anything that you think, man, this is the perfect one and it's newer? Because I know your experience is from the you have equipment that's from like 1930 and 40.
The stuff. Yeah, the things we had, like just the spectrum analyzer would be big, and it weighed like 112 pounds, and it's a
even your first scope was like this deep, and it had the CRT big, little tube like this big.
Yeah, that's all true. And it is cool. You have a spectrum analyzer. You can get one really good, smaller than this, but that would be sweet to have, obviously, but not essential as having the scope and a meter and a power supply. It's even cool now to have, like, you just get a PC power supply, and you can pull down the power leads you need.
So they're modular too.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got a lot of interesting possibilities with that. A little place for some quick jumpers, things like that. It's always good.
Anytime I'm working with PIs or SPCs, you need 5 volts and 12 volts. So.
A CRT, what are those called now?
Heavy.
Monitors.
Yeah.
Monitors. No, but a thing, even if it's an iPad holder, like something where you're looking up data, so you're not going to walk over to the other computer desk. That's all fun.
So Uncle Mark, his wife, Ellen, actually provided us with some funding for this workbench in honor of Uncle Mark.
That's neat.
So I think I'll use some of that. We could get a nice arm over here that we could put either a monitor or an iPad or something on. And we could have that be our, you can move it out of the way, or you can move it in and do some work, maybe have one that comes up and down. So
that would work.
It'd be also cool to have a microphone arm, and then you could actually do like a live stream repair stuff over
Yeah,
here too.
you could do that too. That'd be fun.
You need to retire though, so that you can come and do that stuff
You have to hear that, Sue? Retire. Retire.
someday.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, leave your comments below and let us know. And this will be the first of many times that you see this workbench for sure.